1988, Godzilla Monster of Monsters was released in Japan and would be released in North America the next year. It's way before my time. I grew up with the Pipeworks trilogy, but I've been aware of Monster of Monsters since I was a kid due to my favorite YouTuber ever, the Angry Video Game Nerd.
Ass! Fuck!
I remember seeing a teaser for his upcoming Godzilla video, and I was so excited I could scream. He covered multiple games, but Godzilla on the NES was the main topic. That is to say, I have some nostalgia for this game in an indirect way. Since brainstorming ideas for this channel, I've had this game in the back of my mind. But in some basic research, I found something that intrigued me. A picture of an old poster that came with some copies of the NES Godzilla, advertising various other Toho-produced games. On the surface, it's nothing noteworthy, except for one little detail. Rodan for the NES, coming soon. After seeing this, I literally thought it was fake. If there was a Rodan game for the NES, surely I'd know, right? As it turns out, the reason I never heard of it is because it was never released. But that didn't stop my curiosity. If anything, it only made me more intent on finding out more about this game. What then transpired was a frustrating rabbit hole of dead-end information and leads going nowhere. I was Theseus, Rodan for the NES was the Minotaur, and the internet was my maze. But I'm getting ahead of myself. Let's rewind a little. The first thing I need to address is the ad itself. It seems like it was handcrafted to be as mysterious as possible. The picture is just a production photo of Rodan, giving us no real indication of what kind of game it's supposed to be. It's not even edited or anything, it's just a straight photo of Rodan, chilling on a cliff. On top of that is the description. A giant flying reptile is assaulting the Earth. Rodan, Godzilla's arch-enemy. Now an exciting NES game. Wait, so now Rodan is Godzilla's arch-enemy? How did they get that idea? Out of the 4 movies with Rodan in it by this time, only one of them has him fighting Godzilla, Ghidorah the 3-headed monster, and they're literally fighting together by the end of that movie, so that description makes no sense. King Ghidorah is way more fitting of that title. Between the stock picture, the awkward description, and its unknown fate, I had to know more, so I took to the internet. I read multiple articles and found that they pretty much all gave the same handful of info, 2 of which were literally word for word the exact same. The common claims among them are as follows. The game was initially advertised in 1990, slated for a 1991 release date. The game was going to be a sequel to Godzilla Monster of Monsters. It was cancelled and reworked into Godzilla 2 War of the Monsters due to Toho believing a Godzilla game would sell better than a Rodan game. Most articles cite their sources on the first 2 claims, issue 16 of Nintendo Power and issue 14 of GamePro, both of which came out in 1990. Thankfully, all issues of Nintendo Power are in the Internet Archive, so I was able to confirm this. Both Nintendo Power and GamePro have tiny blurbs about Rodan in their retrospective upcoming games section. Both articles refer to it as a sequel to Godzilla. Also, props to Nintendo Power for having a more accurate description of the character than the official Toho ad. But the third claim, on the other hand, is a whole other can of worms. Almost every place I found online of people talking about this game makes some kind of reference to it becoming Godzilla 2 in one way or another. Some condition that statement with supposedly, but many just claim it as fact. All of them reference an unnamed issue of Nintendo Power as the source of this claim. Now, this sounds pretty believable. It is hard to envision what a Rodan game would play like after all. I mean, before Godzilla vs. Mechagodzilla 2, the only ability Rodan had was flying really fast, and that movie wouldn't come out until a few years later. So it being a strategy game doesn't sound unreasonable. But regardless of how realistic it sounds, that doesn't mean it's true.
You really think someone would do that? Just go on the internet and tell lies?
And the fact that no one ever gives an issue number made me skeptical. My first thought was that it must be mentioned in an article about Godzilla 2. But here's the thing. I could find only 2 references to that game, issues 23 and 24, but both of these are pretty worthless for our purposes, as neither includes any description. It's just a list of upcoming games. I looked through every issue of Nintendo Power between Rodan's initial mention in issue 16 to the first mention of Godzilla 2, and I found absolutely nothing.
A hole would be something. No, it was nothing.
This leads me to believe that this claim was some rumor that came about, or maybe it was mentioned in a different magazine, and someone who wrote one of these articles just misremembered. On the face of it, this is nothing weird. People famously love to lie on the internet.
Was any part of that true?
I think 93% of it was true.
When I was a kid, I would watch GTA San Andreas videos about the game's secret Bigfoot, and I literally thought that that game was about cryptids for like at least a year. So yeah, I'm familiar with the ways of the internet. But what's crazy to me is how willing people are just to report this as fact. Multiple articles, videos, and forums I found have people just blindly perpetuating this, and I can't find any evidence of who said it first. Now, it's fully possible that I missed something. Nintendo Power issues are very dense, and I'm easily distracted. I mean, who wouldn't lose focus after seeing an article about everyone's favorite game, Scat? The fact that people have no problem citing the other issues talking about Rodan makes me think that this is bullshit.
And I'd fly in, I'd go bullshit.
My last-ditch effort to find out more was to try looking it up in Japanese, but yet again, I found nothing. But I am not by any means even close to fluent, especially when it comes to reading, so take that with like a plow king of salt. Rodan for the NES is a lost video game, and a specific reason as to why that is, or what happened to it, are lost as well. I think it's totally possible that it could have become Godzilla 2 mid-development, but that's no more or less likely than any other theory at this point. I never found my Minotaur, but I had fun running through this maze, even if it was frustrating. Just to be clear, I mean no hate towards the authors of these articles. Half of them have big citation needed alerts on them anyways, so clearly they are aware it may not be true. Thanks for watching. I wanted to make a smaller video after spending so much time on my last one. I hope you enjoyed.